This video is for you if your home is becoming overly cluttered but you don't know where to begin. We'll go over 6 functional areas of your house: the living room, kitchen, wardrobe, children's rooms, bathroom, storage, and sentimental. Instead of giving you general advice or telling you to get rid of everything, you will receive a total of 45 precise, targeted questions that will help you choose what is valuable and what is merely a waste of space. This has nothing to do with minimalism or perfection. It's about making your house a more comfortable place to live. Using the timestamps below, you can either follow along from beginning to end or go to the section that requires the greatest attention. One intelligent inquiry at a time. Let's clear some space. Since this is frequently the busiest and most visible room in the house, clutter accumulates quickly there as everything is temporarily placed here. When I'm decluttering this area, I try to avoid asking what should I get rid of. Instead, I ask softer, simpler questions like these. The first is, do I really use this thing? Or has it just been sitting here because I'm accustomed to it? We occasionally keep items in the living room simply because they have been there for a long time. It's easy to mistake routine for utility, so if it's something I don't often use, like a blanket no one reaches for, or a book I'm no longer reading, I stop and ask, does this still serve me right now? Something doesn't necessarily deserve the same place today just because it has been there for years. Furthermore, letting it go does not imply negligence. It indicates that you're making the deliberate decision. The second query, am I just accustomed to seeing this here? Or does it still feel like my style? Over time, our preferences shift. Before realizing one day that I only maintained a certain vase because I had nowhere else to put it, I used to adore it. Your current self should be reflected in your space, not just your past self. It's a gentle reminder if something seems strange or disjointed when you truly pause to consider it. You don't need to defend its release. The third question will eventually take up space. Everything changed for me because of this question. For 2 years, I kept a broken lamp in case we could fix it. Simply in case, however, nearly always translates to simply in the way. It's a fear-based, not an optimistic, justification for holding on to anything. I doubt I'll miss it if it's gone if I haven't required it in the past year. And if I do, I can typically find a better used alternative that is more reasonably priced than the one I retained. Fourth query, do I genuinely enjoy this? Be truthful with yourself. Do you have a special place for that bowl on the shelf? Or did you simply run out of places to put it? I used to pretend I didn't mind things by hiding them in corners or beneath other objects. However, even when no one else is there, you should feel proud to show off your house. The fifth query, am I harboring remorse about this? It's difficult, but here's the reality. Giving up a present doesn't imply that you don't value it. The object isn't the source of love. Giving was the key. You've already received that moment and honored it. You can now determine if it really fits your life. Otherwise, someone else could be thrilled to have it next. Sixth question, would I decide to repurchase this today? One of my favorite questions is this one. It immediately returns me to the here and now. Why am I giving it room in my house if I wouldn't spend money on it again, given who I am now? And if it disappeared, I wouldn't even notice. That's an obvious response. Seventh question. Does this space feel open and airy or packed and crowded? Sometimes the whole feeling is more important than any one particular piece. I know it's time to evaluate if these shelves are overly crowded when I enter a room and feel tight or visually overstimulated. Are all surfaces covered? Sorting things into trays or baskets is beneficial, but only if the contents truly belong there. The eighth query, am I merely accustomed to seeing this, or do I really adore it? Familiarity has an oddly comforting quality. Even if we no longer enjoy the things around us, we cease to notice them. That dusty candle holder, that art print you've owned for years. Would you be impressed by it, or would you hardly notice it if you were in someone else's home? Sometimes we preserve things just because we haven't asked questions about them in a long time. A ninth question. Would I be happy or sad if this vanished tomorrow? This is a brief but impactful question. Imagine that it is no longer there. Just gone. No decision, no explanation. Would you search for it? Would you overlook it? Or would you prefer to reclaim the space? We underestimate how much that initial instinctive response might reveal. Question 10. Does this item reflect my life as it is, or as I wish it were? This one has the ability to feel tender. Sometimes we hold on to fancy items, gadgets, or decor because they reflect the person we're aiming to be. But do I really need 3 serving trays if I'm not throwing dinner parties every weekend? Do I really need 4 ornamental throws that I never use if I spend my evenings wrapped up in leggings on the couch? Make your house a reflection of who you are. The tranquility resides there. While things may land in the living room, they tend to linger in the kitchen. Overflowing drawers, tiny jars, and partially used devices. They build up gradually and inconspicuously until you discover one day that you are cooking in an unsatisfactory environment. Together, we can restore some tranquility to the center of your house, not by remodeling the entire kitchen, but by asking 10 straightforward, meaningful questions. Question 11. Is it safe to use now? Clutter can occasionally be hidden in plain sight, such as old spices, expired pasta, or neglected condiments in the refrigerator's back. I used to find checking dates boring, so I skipped it. However, each time I do, I'm taken aback by how much room I've freed up and how much lighter the shelves feel. The kitchen's air quality improves with only one quick sweep. Question no. 12. Is this flavor even to my taste? All of us have purchased marinades or seasoning sauces when a recipe asked for them, only to find out later that we didn't enjoy them. I thus question, am I ever going to use this again? If not, I can let it go and maybe give myself permission not to force flavors that don't fit my kitchen. Question 13. Rather than letting it sit there quietly condemning me. Is this something I'm keeping in case I make something fancy to cook? I once stored a container of truffle oil for many years. I never made the recipe I had in mind. Occasionally, we save items for a version of ourselves that prepares fine dining every weekend. However, it's also acceptable if my go-to meal consists of stir-fries and quick pasta. Let your cooking style be reflected throughout your kitchen. Question 14. How recently have I used this device? The blender attachment is still in the box, along with the slow cooker and waffle maker. It's worthwhile to inquire as to why it hasn't been utilized in months. Is cleaning too difficult? Do I overlook its presence? Did it become a passing fad? Despite your best efforts, your kitchen shouldn't feel like a storage closet. Question 15. Do I have multiple items that perform the same function? Wooden spoons, tongs, and peelers. I used to keep 3 of everything on hand just in case. In actuality, though, I consistently aim for the same one. The backups are probably only taking up drawer space if there is stuff you rely on. Give the extras a break. Question 16. Is this flawed, or am I simply evading the choice? One jar with a damaged lid or a food processor without a blade is a common occurrence. I kept them because I might be able to fix it. Weeks, however, became years. Instead of a kitchen full of almosts, you deserve a kitchen that works. I never end up missing something I've finally let go of that might come up in the future. It just creates mental and physical space. Inquiry 17. If I lost this, would I notice? Must I keep it instead of asking? If it disappeared tomorrow, would I even care? Is my question. If the response is negative, then it is clear. We sometimes believe that by keeping things on hand, we are being responsible. The last stage is to let it go. Question 18. Are all these dishes and cups really being used? We had more than 30 mugs for a household of 4 at one time. Until I was continuously moving shelves and cleaning dishes we didn't use, it seemed innocuous. It has nothing to do with self-limitation. There is less mess, cleanup takes less time, and there are fewer daily decisions to make when there are less dishes. Question 19. Does this product deserve to be on the counter? Counter space is valuable. Everything omitted becomes into visual clutter. So, do I use this every day? If not, it either goes out the door or into a cupboard. Even before the coffee starts, a tidy counter adds a sense of tranquility to every morning. Question 20. Is there a reason or pressure behind my holding on to this? We feel like we should have certain things. That elegant, matching dish set. We never figured out the juicer. We only utilized 2 of the 12 blades in the knife block. Consider whether this is actually assisting me or merely satisfying some ethereal ideal of what a nice kitchen ought to look like. It is not necessary to have a flawless kitchen. A few considerate decisions made gradually and with kindness can change the atmosphere of your kitchen, but you don't have to clear out every drawer today. Additionally, you feel more at ease when your kitchen is peaceful. Since clothes are more than just objects, I like to go inside the wardrobe, which feels more intimate after tidying up the kitchen. They are identities, memories, and occasionally small areas of guilt. Here's the reality, though. You ought to have a wardrobe that complements your actual life, rather than one that makes you feel heavy each time you go through the door. 21st question. Have I worn this recently? Really? Consider why a particular article of clothes hasn't come into contact with your flesh in more than a year. Is it concealed by other clothing? Or is it just another piece that you always meaning to wear but never do? Sometimes we hang on to our garments out of habit, rather than because they are no longer useful. Perhaps it's time to let it go, if it never comes off the hanger. 22nd question. Does this suit who I am right now? 6 years ago, I was someone else. Not the person I might be in 6 months. It's just me today. It's a warning indication if wearing it makes you feel constricted, uneasy, or uneasy about your own body. Instead of feeling like you need to change, you should wear clothes that fit you. Question 23. Do I really lead the kind of life for which this ensemble was designed? Clothing for life I wasn't actually living was something I used to maintain. Elegant gowns for events I never went to. Office attire from a long-gone employment. I also felt a weird need to explain why I wasn't wearing them every time I glanced at them. Getting rid of those items freed up space for clothing that complements my actual habits. On the couch in the evenings, school dashes to the grocery store. And to be honest, it was like letting out a breath. 24th question. When I wear this, do I feel like myself? Even though they appear good, some clothes never feel right. I would put them on, look in the mirror, and feel strange. Not sure, not quite me. It's not about the clothes when that occurs. It has to do with alignment. It's probably not meant to remain in your closet if it doesn't feel comfortable on your body. Question 25. Am I hiding this because I feel guilty? Perhaps it was expensive. Perhaps you got it from someone. Perhaps you regret not wearing it more after wearing it once. However, guilt is not a valid excuse for holding on to anything. Clothes are not there to hang like small mementos of money spent or promises broken. They are there to be utilized and appreciated. You may let it go and forgive yourself. Question no. 26. Do I never reach for my multiples? Everyone has a favorite. That one hoodie you constantly reach for. The jeans that fit perfectly. Or your favorite black tee. What about the others, though? Backup versions that you never wear. I once discovered that I only wore 2 of my 5 white shirts. Finding what I loved was made more difficult by the others, who only made my wardrobe feel more packed. It can feel easier and more like you to wear when you have fewer options. Question 27. I used to adore this, so am I retaining it? Years ago, that might have been your favorite top 5. Perhaps you wore it during a unique time in your life. It feels different, though, when you try it on now. It's not nearly the same fit. Or perhaps you've just moved on. Thanking a piece for its meaning and letting it go are both acceptable. You don't have to keep your past in your closet. Your current self should be reflected in your closet. Clutter can rapidly take over your children's rooms if you have any at home. Toys they never really connected with, and clothes they outgrew. Things that are lovingly given yet rarely used. I've also discovered this. It's not only about keeping things neat when you simplify their area. In fact, it makes it easier for them to concentrate, sleep, and play calmly. When I visit my children's bedroom, I ask them these friendly questions. 28th question. Have they outgrown this? Silently. They grow until half the drawer is filled with clothing that is too small to cover their heads. It's simple to overlook, particularly when life is hectic. The frustration of having to clothe your child in clothing that just doesn't fit, however, can be avoided by taking a time to verify sizing. I tell myself, letting go of this shirt doesn't mean letting go of the memory. Whenever I take out something that is too small, it simply indicates that we have moved on. Question 29. If their drawers are stocked with winter clothes despite the intense heat outdoors, is this a seasonal issue? All it does is increase the visual clutter. To ensure that everything is wearable today, I prefer to rotate their wardrobe. It helps them and me get dressed more easily. Question 30. Am I keeping this merely because it was a hand-me-down or a gift? Not everything that is given or passed on must remain. Things is acceptable to let things go if your child doesn't wear it, doesn't like it, or has more than enough of it. Being grateful does not entail being obligated. Question no. 31. Do these toys play, get really focused, or are they simply thrown away? Here's what I observe. Despite being surrounded by toys, my kids hardly used the majority of them. There was no real interaction, but the dolls were spread and the bricks were spilt. I began to rotate toys at that point. The toys that remained received a lot more attention once I put a few in the closet or a high-up bin. More connectivity, less noise. Question 32. Do I like the way it looks on them, or do they prefer wearing it? Admitting this was difficult. I thought some of the clothes were cute, but my kids obviously didn't feel at ease wearing them. You can tell if they're begging to change or pulling out shirts all the time. They become more independent and mornings are much less stressful when they give up the adorable but bothersome outfits. Question no. 33. Do they find this room soothing or too stimulating? Even if a kid's room is clean, having too many toys, different colors of clothing, and strewn about items can make it feel disorganized. I make an effort to make area for breathing as well as walking, since they feel more at ease in their own space. To be honest, I do too. Despite being one of the tiniest spaces in the house, the bathroom quickly fills up. Old makeup, half-used bottles, and backup items you forgot you possessed. And even a little counter feels crammed somehow. I can determine what's still useful and what's just hanging around by asking these 5 questions. 34th question. Has this been sitting here for too long, or has it expired? We keep some items in our cupboards long after they are no longer useful. You probably no longer trust it to be applied to your skin if it has been out of stock for more than a year and you aren't utilizing it. One easy method to make your bathroom feel safer and fresher is to let it go. 35th question. Are these towels merely taking up room or are they still useful? Although it's simple to accumulate more towels than we require, they just serve to increase the mess if they are old, never used, or are constantly shoved to the back. Your shelves and routines will be easier if you simply retain what you frequently reach for. Question no. 36. Does this decor make things easier or more difficult? A bathroom can seem comfortable with a few pleasant touches, but if there are too many small items, cleaning becomes more difficult. It's time to reconsider what genuinely offers value here if you're shifting items about all the time only to clean the counter. Cleanups go more quickly when there are fewer objects. 37th question. Does this much backup actually fit my needs? While it's acceptable to have an extra bottle of shampoo, backups frequently end up as forgotten clutter until you really utilize them all. Behaving like a warehouse is not necessary. When you truly need something, stores are convenient to go to and exist for a purpose. Question 38. Do I preserve this cosmetic product, or do I still use it? The old one simply gets shoved to the back when we get something new that we adore. Although we secretly know we won't use it again, we keep it on hand just in case. It's likely time to let it go if it has been sitting unused for weeks or months. Replacing something that no longer serves your needs doesn't have to make you feel bad. Decluttering these tiny bottles creates mental and physical space. 39th question. Does utilizing this product truly bring me joy? Not everything worth keeping is still excellent. Perhaps it doesn't operate as you expected, feels sticky, or has an overpowering fragrance. The likelihood is that you won't use it if you don't look forward to it. Give it up and only keep the things that make your routine feel easy and fun. 40th question. Does anything get in the way of cleaning this bathroom, or is it simple? Sometimes the things themselves aren't the largest source of worry. Rather, it's how they drag down your cleaning process. Clutter occurs when every surface is crowded, or when cleaning the wash basin requires moving 10 items. Eliminating the excess speeds up daily maintenance and prolongs the space's freshness. Clearing shelves is only one aspect of decluttering storage areas. It's about confronting past plans, past identities, and unexpected memories. These are the things that we either put away for later or kept because they were too sentimental to handle. These 5 inquiries have aided me in making more considerate and lucid choices, particularly in relation to sentimental matter. Question 41. Was this for something I've previously abandoned? We occasionally hoard materials for pastimes, crafts, or business ventures that we have outgrown. It's acceptable to let someone else use it if I haven't touched it in more than a year, and I'm no longer enthusiastic about it. Your inventiveness isn't going away. All you're doing is adjusting to what works for you right now. 42nd question. Do we have baby equipment in storage, such as a travel cot, a baby swing, and old bikes, in case our children outgrow them? And I wanted to ask, do we feel bad about throwing things out, or are we retaining them because we'll use them? Giving them away now allows someone else to use them while they're still useful, even if they won't be safe or needed later. 43. Does this sentimental object make you feel better or worse? Certain memories aid in our recovery, but not all of them are happy ones. For instance, a folder from my first miscarried pregnancy is still in the possession of my buddy. Seeing it doesn't harm. It actually aids in her recollection of that romantic encounter. Even if others might not understand, it's acceptable to save things that hold special importance for you. 44th question. Is this picture or object something I cherish, or am I only preserving it? We are not required to preserve every photo, memento, or memento. It's acceptable to snap a picture and discard the actual object if it doesn't evoke a feeling or connection. Your past isn't being erased. All you have to do is decide what to bring. 45th question. Is this area filled with someday items? There isn't any space for what you use on a daily basis when every shelf is crammed with memories in May. Would I even remember what's in this box if I opened it a year later? If not, it's time to make room for the life you're living now, not the one you wish to return to or the one you used to live. That's all. Each of the 45 questions, spread across 6 sections, is intended to make decluttering seem less daunting and more manageable. You don't have to approach every room at once or answer them all today. Just trust that modest steps still matter and start where you feel most stuck. Having the ideal home is not the aim. Making one that genuinely works for your life at the moment is the goal. Please leave a comment if this video inspired you to take action or changed your perspective. Continue making room for what's really important until the next time.